This is Byron Donalds talking about he's actually talking about Bitcoin because he wants to be he's a House of Representatives in Florida, one of the 430 House of Representatives, and he's getting interviewed by Fox. And let's see what he has to say about Bitcoin.
2.7 is the price. President Trump has a plan for a strategic crypto reserve. Now, Congressman Byron Donalds wants to do exactly the same thing for the state of Florida. He's here now, gubernatorial candidate, Congressman Byron Donalds. What do you think a crypto reserve would do for the state of Florida?
Well, Stu, it's great to be with you. Want to be very clear on this. What I'm proposing in Florida is a Bitcoin reserve, not just pure crypto. Crypto's a lot of different currencies in a basket. Bitcoin is proven to be a holder of value.
Did you hear what he just said?
Bitcoin is proven to be a holder of value over the long term. Stu, I remember back in
Boom, there it is. He's smart. This guy's smart. Looks like my cousin, my brother. A lot of people tell me, you look like Byron Donalds. I said, no, he looks like me. Anyways, yeah. So he's saying Bitcoin only. You know what I mean? He's smart. He knows what's up. This is way different. But yeah, this is crazy. He's going to be the governor of Florida, and if he wants to buy Bitcoin only, I'm with it.
2015, when Bitcoin was just this new niche thing that was starting up, you could have picked up a Bitcoin when Bitcoin over the long term. Stu, I remember back in 2015, when Bitcoin was just this new niche thing that was starting up, you could have picked up a Bitcoin for $500 a coin. Now 82,000 at the current level. It was at 100. It was lower than that last year. What Bitcoin has proven, because there's only but so many coins that can ever be created, that's the entire way it was structured, is that it could be similar to gold in a holder of value over the long term, especially considering the fact that through our current Federal Reserve System, the dollar actually is diminished over time, the way that the Federal Reserve prints dollars, because of Congress's reckless inability to control spending over the long term. So having a Bitcoin reserve as a part of your portfolio actually helps to provide value for the state long term.
But Congressman, there's a point of principle involved here. Why should the government support a particular asset class? I mean, you could have a national S&P 500 stock reserve, and the government will be backing stocks. What you've got is a crypto reserve, so the government is backing that asset. What happens if it goes down? You know, guarantee it's going to go up.
No, there's no guarantees.
See, this is why you know we're early. And I like this guy. He's a good guy. He really is. But he doesn't know, right? He hasn't done. He doesn't put in the work. And not to call out Creel the traveler, but again, you know, when you don't put in the work, this is how you talk. Well, what if it goes to zero? What about the stocks and all this? You can't judge a new system from within an old system, right? These people are the old guard. They're stuck into this fiat currency system. Like, how are we going to put all this money in and blah, blah, blah. That's why when they wrote the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, they had to put a budget-friendly way to buy it. In other words, hey, guys, we know you don't know anything about Bitcoin yet, and we're not going to use your tax dollars on something you don't know about because, again, it's volatile and it might go to zero and stuff like that. But people don't understand, and they don't know. They're very young into this. It's crazy.
No, there's no guarantees in anything, but there's a reason why we also have strategic petroleum. Like, we do hold in a state's portfolio a basket of securities. In the pension funds in every state in the country, there's a basket of securities that uphold that pension fund. Why do we do that? Because there's a generally held belief that securities over time will outstrip inflation and they will outstrip tax policy. And so there's an ability for people to increase their portfolios. I mean, that's basic portfolio theory right there, Stu. For anybody who has a 401k, they put it in securities. There's no reason the state can mirror some of that with a Bitcoin reserve. And I will also add, again, if you look at the trend lines over the last 10 years, it's without a doubt, it's been able to not just hold its value, it's massively expanded its value. And considering what is happening with fiat currencies, including the US dollar, there's no reason to think that the Bitcoin valuation won't be able to stabilize itself or grow over the long term. Last thing I'll say is there are no new Bitcoins that are going to be issued. It's a fixed amount. That in and of itself creates the valuation that could be very beneficial to the state of Florida and to the United States.
And last one before we move on. Would you use...
Boom. I could have said it better myself. Couldn't have said it better myself.
One before we move on. Would you use Florida taxpayer dollars to buy Bitcoin for your Florida reserve?
That part remains to be seen. It could be a portion of taxpayer dollars that we have already in surplus. So these aren't new tax dollars going out as part of the surplus reserve that we already have. It could be a portion of what we do with respect to some of the investments that we make going forward when it comes to pensioners. But at the end of the day, is Florida going to have the residual asset values for potentially in the future there being issues with federal spending? Because we all know 36 trillion and rising, there are going to be limitations in federal spending in the future. Florida has to be prepared to protect itself. And as the next governor, prospectively, it will be my duty to protect Floridians and to protect the state's balance sheet.
There we have it. Couldn't have said it better myself. Could not have said it better myself. And then this right here, this is a bill. New U.S. Representative Byron Donalds introduced bill to cement President Trump's strategic Bitcoin reserve into law, protecting it from future administrations. There it is. Instead of putting it in an executive order, he wants to put it in a bill so if somebody else comes in, he can do that. Yeah. So there's the bill right there to put it into law, to bring it down to the House of Representatives. We'll probably get it passed and send it to the Senate, and then Donald Trump will sign it into the executive branch.